Wait. Is it Brizy Wordpress that I need, or is it Brizy Cloud? Is Brizy better than Instapage, or better than Lead Pages or Squarespace? In this video, we're going to find out what Brizy is, what it does well, what it doesn't do very well as how it stacks up to the competitors. So stay tuned and let's go into it. So let's first talk about Brizy. Brizy was originally created to be a competitor to something like Elementor. It was a WordPress plugin that you could install on your WordPress site to let you visually create websites. So instead of having to code your website on WordPress, it would allow you to visually move blocks around, blocks of content around, and kind of use a WYSIWYG or a visual editor to create pages. From there, the Brizy plugin has evolved, and Brizy created a thing called Brizy Cloud, which is more or less what we're going to be talking about today. So Brizy Cloud is essentially almost like a Squarespace competitor or a Lead Pages competitor that allows you to create kind of with a visual editor an online site. And it's actually a pretty decent software, essentially based on what they have done so far, which is, it's only been in development for a couple of years. So I think they've done a pretty good job so far. There are a lot of caveats, and we're going to go over those. But first, I wanted to just kind of give you a little bit of a tour of what how the Brizy website is set up, so you can kind of understand the difference, because it's very confusing. So you have Brizy Wordpress plugin right here, which is, what we talked about earlier, is the plugin that you put into WordPress. We're not really going to be going about with that. We're not really going to be talking about that today. And then you also have the Brizy Cloud, which is what we're going to be talking about today in detail, which is here. So when you go into the Pro section, you'll get to see the different levels of pricing that are offered. Now, every version of the Brizy Pro account gives you the Brizy Pro WordPress license. With it, you also get a year worth of updates and all that. For the $99 a year version, you get unlimited websites, which is kind of nice. And for the $49 a year, you get 3 websites. So if you're comparing that to something like Squarespace, it's actually a pretty good deal, because Squarespace, I think nowadays, is like $15 to $19 a month. So when you do the math, it's a huge savings. Again, there are caveats. There are things that Brizy Cloud can do, which are very limiting. And we're going to go into that right now. All right. So once you log into your Brizy Cloud account, you set up your account with Brizy, you'll be presented with your dashboard. The dashboard is pretty plain, looks kind of like this. From here, you're able to see how many team members you have in your account. You get your personal avatar here, where you can kind of drill into your account. Then you get your different project picker from here. So if you have multiple Brizy accounts, you're able to choose between different projects here. And then you're also able to create your website. Now, Brizy calls websites projects. So this could be a one-page layout. This could be a multiple-page layout. The cool thing about Brizy is that not only can you do a one-page landing page, you can do a page that has multiple pages, a website that has multiple pages. So to do this, click the plus button here. Now, I was originally thinking when making this video, I'll edit out the things that I don't remember. You'll see pretty quickly what I mean by Brizy can be a little bit confusing, and they don't really do a good job explaining where things are or what they actually do. So even though I've been using it for now over a week, I still get confused where I can find specific things. So anyways, once you add the project, you'll be presented with a screen, and I'm just going to go through it real quick. From here, you can preview the site. Here's your project name. We're going to call this foodie site. I'm going to be creating a foodie site from scratch here. And you're able to publish the site from here as well. When you click on the edit project button, it takes you to this section of the platform where you're able to actually edit your site. Now I wanted to just go over quickly some of these features here that you see in the 3-dot menu. You have a link called leads. When you click on that, it will give you a list of all the leads that you collected on the site. Now, this is problem number 1. There is currently no way for the Brizy Cloud to send emails when somebody fills out a form. If that sounds crazy, because it is. The main idea of generating a website is to generate leads. And currently, even though they have plugins that you can plug into a form, and I'll show you that later, it's really weird that I can just send out an email. So if you fill out the form, you know, hey, I want to get in touch with you and I want to talk about so and so, the email doesn't go out. So you can connect it to MailChimp, you can connect it to different products, but there's nothing there that lets you actually email. Just send out a quick email to an email of choice. Now, in the Brizy WordPress plugin, you're able to connect Brizy to WordPress. So you're able to use the WordPress mailer function to send out emails that way. But on the Brizy Cloud, that's something that you can currently do. Now, if you look at the roadmap, that's something that they're aware of. If you look here, there's a couple of places where they talk about it. Let me see if I can find that now. Here, what features would you like added? A lot of people talk about the ability to send emails out. So let me see if I can find it. Let me see if there was another section here where you can see a little bit better. Global pop-ups, plugin, analytics and tracking. Where is it? Configure a form to receive data from form via email. So it's a very weird thing that's missing. They have mentioned that they're working on it. I contacted support and they said that's one of the top features that they're working on. So just to go back quickly here, you have your analytics. This is also something that's currently not working. It's also, if you look here at the roadmap, you'll see that analytics and tracking is one of the things that they are working on. This is extremely important if you're running A to B tests. The fact that you can currently track something within the Brizy app is a little bit of a challenge, but there are workarounds and things that you can do. So for example, you're able to inject your Google Analytics code or your Google Tag Manager code. So you are able to do some tracking in that sense. It's just unfortunate that they don't have something built into the app itself. And then finally, you're able to publish or delete your project. So I'm going to go into the project now, and then from here is where you're going to start seeing some of the issues that I'm talking about, where the interface can be a little tricky, even though it's actually really nice, and I think they've done a good job making it simple, and it's actually quite powerful. You'll notice that for some reason, some of the things are just complicated. So you start off with a plain page. Here you're able to add different items. So let's walk through some of the items that you have here on the left. From here's where you can add your elements. So things like text, buttons, icons, spacers, videos, menus, carousel. You can do basic things like creating a grid with rows and columns. And here you're able to add your social media buttons or embed code. On this area, you'll be able to reorder the blocks. Currently, when you're building a site, you're not able to drag and drop the blocks within the builder. So once you kind of like what you have set up, you have to go back into the order blocks to do that. And then here you're able to set different styling. This is actually pretty cool. You can create your own styles and then able to reuse them automatically all over the site. Or you can select the ones that they pre-made for you. So some of these are actually pretty cool and they work really well. So I think we're gonna go today with, let's go with Samurai. We're gonna make maybe like a burger website. And you can kind of see the samples here for paragraphs, headings, and you can kind of modify them to your likings, which is kind of pretty cool. So the styling option here is actually pretty handy. Here you're able to see the website, what it will look like in different views. And then here you're able to change the settings of the page. So we're going to jump into this one because I think this one's important. This is where you're able to create the different pages. Here's where you're able to do site settings. So add your site title, your site description, your fab icon. You're able to set the messages that you want to use whenever you're doing social sharing, and select a thumbnail for the website in general. Here's where you can do custom CSS. If there's something that you need to do beyond what you're currently provided, you can do it here. And here's the code injection area of Brizy, where you can put in the Google Analytics code, Google Tag Manager, Facebook Tracking Pixel, and so on. Now the tricky part here is that, at least from my understanding, is that you can't really do this on a page-by-page basis. So I could be wrong. Again, it's very confusing. But right now, the code injection only happens on the site in general. So I think given that, and given some of the limitations, though it's nice that Brizy allows you to make a multi-page site, I think it would have been, it's kind of limiting in what you can do within those pages. And again, we'll see, maybe I'm wrong, but it's not immediately obvious when working on the site. So let's go here and edit this menu here. we're gonna just add a couple more pages so you can kind of see how that looks like. So we're going to name this menu, let's name this menu footer. Okay, there it is. Another thing that you'll notice too with Brizy is that the menu the interface can be a little slow. So let's go home. Oh, sorry. Let's call it header menu. You click plus, and it'll create a menu. Should have probably created the, why do I have two footers? Should have probably created the header one first, but that's fine. So you're gonna hit save changes, and then the menus are already created. So when you go to the drop down, you'll see the two options here. So let's go back to the project and let's add a couple pages. So I'm gonna create a new page. There it is. We're gonna edit that. So as you can see, it's a little slow. It can be a little slow sometimes. Whoops. Let's go back to the section editor. All right. We're gonna click on the cogwheel. We're gonna change this to contact. Change this permalink to contact. We're gonna leave that alone. Right now, we're not really interested in showing you SEO and SEM optimization strategies. And then we're gonna create another page just for the menu or something. Maybe just a gallery of images of the restaurant. Let's click on settings, and we're gonna call this gallery. All right. Now you'll notice here that the order of the pages that were added don't really make any sense. So let's go back to actually editing this particular page. And I'm going to show you another little problem that Brizy has currently at the moment. So let's go back here. So we're editing the home page. So here's the order. Obviously this order doesn't make any sense. So you can go into the menus, and then you can add different items to the menu. And then you're able to drag and drop the order. So that's kind of neat. So again, you can see that there are things here that are pretty cool, but you can tell that the software still needs a little bit to go. So let's save the changes, and then we're off to the races. So I want to show you briefly how that works. Again, you'll notice that it's taking a little longer than we want just to do some basic stuff. All right, so let's create a page. We're going to click plus to start adding blocks. Now this is where really Brizy really shines. They have a bunch of blocks of kit. They have two different kits. They have kit 1 and kit 2. And each different kit has, I want to say hundreds. It's more than 100, so it's hundreds. Hundreds and hundreds of blocks of elements that are actually really well designed. Really nicely designed with a lot of spacing. There's a lot of features, and you can kind of drill down by specific things that most people need. So if you need to do a team page, like that's super simple. You just click on that and you're done. If you need to do a testimonial, they have different versions of testimonials. Contact forms, map areas, sliders, headers. They have different headers. They have different covers. I mean, they have a lot of options. And then even within there, they have the dark themes, and they have light themes. So that's just kit 1. In kit 2, this one's a little bit more graphical. What happened to the kits? Okay, so this one's a little brighter, and you can see they also have a lot of different options. And I think these ones work better for like one-page sites, these blocks. And then they have something called layouts. Now layouts are complete pages that you can actually create just by clicking on a button. It's actually super cool. So let's start off with, we said we're going to do a website about food. So I kind of like this one here. So we're going to start off with that. And here you can kind of preview what the different pages look like. So here's the home page. Here's a guest and an about page. Here is a menu page. I mean, this looks amazing. So they did a great job with some of this stuff. Here's some recipes. And here's a contact page. I think this is a great layout, so let's do that. So right away, wait. So this was, imported a specific page. So let's go back to the layouts real quick. So again, this is what I mean, but what is it that you're actually doing? Okay, so we're gonna go and we're gonna go back. We deleted all the elements that were on the page, and we're gonna go up here, and we're gonna go to layouts, and then we're gonna go back to the template that we wanted to use. Now we're on the home page, so obviously we're going to use the home page layout and we're going to import it into the site. So right away I have this beautiful one-page site for a bakery. I was originally going to do hamburger place, but this already has all the graphics, so I think it makes it a lot easier to show you. And it's that simple. I mean, it's pretty simple to just create something from that's already built. Use the layouts to your advantage. So here, for example, you have menu, and if you happen to have a menu page, all you had to do is click here, click on the link, and then put the link that you want to link to. Okay, so it's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. You can replace images. So if you want to replace this image, you click here, and then you can not only replace it, if this image was a little bit bigger, you can actually drag it around to get the zoom that you want. So for example, I want just on the left side like that, I could make that happen. But I think it looks good the way it does there. You can add filters. So if you wanted to give it a little bit of a different color, you can do that as well. It's pretty neat. They give you a lot of control, which is really nice. And if you wanted to, for that image to open up in a light box, you just hit that button and you're good to go. Editing text is also very simple. You just highlight the text you want to edit and change it. Or if you wanted to delete it, let's say, you know what, this doesn't look good, I can just delete that. I don't need a picture of a chef. So it's simple to do stuff like that. You're also able to make changes to the different columns. So if you don't want to go 50-50, you can drag and drop that. And then you can look at the different views by clicking on this version here on the left. So again, like I mentioned, this template is really beautiful. They do give you a lot of beautiful templates. So I think one of the best things that they do is just in the quality of the designs that they have available. So I just wanted to kind of show you how easy it was to set up something like that. Now let's go back now to a different page. So this is kind of where it falls apart a little bit. From what I can tell, and again, I've been using this for a week. I still don't notice where I could do that. So let's go edit the second page. Right, so now let's say we're doing a gallery page and we're editing this. We're editing this gallery page. Okay, so this is where it gets tricky. The gallery page doesn't look like anything. I'm starting from scratch, so it doesn't take in any of the footers. If you have footers or menus set up, it wouldn't work. So let's build something from scratch. Let's just build this page from scratch. So let's say I wanted to do, let's go to kit 1 and we're going to choose a menu. So let me drill down on the menu. Okay, header. All right, so let's say we have a header and we like that one. It inputs the header, that's great. And then it says select menu from element options. So you click here, and you select this, and then here we can choose the header menu. So that's pretty simple, pretty cool. You can make it a hamburger on desktop or not, it's up to you. And if you want to change the position of the alignment, you will click here. And that's how you do that. Let's keep it center for now. I think that looks okay. You can also change the padding of this specific area by using these elements here. And then you also can change the over container on top. You can add a background color. So let's say we wanted to make it red, which is not a good idea. You can do that as well. Let's make this a weird blue. All right. And then let's add a block of elements. So let's say we wanted to add, let's say something kind of cool. Let's add a cover. I don't know. Let's add some kind of introduction here. So again, pretty simple. You will go here. You can change the images in the background on this area. So I don't like that crop. I can move it up and down. Pretty cool. You can use a video as well by uploading or linking to a YouTube video, which is really nice. Sorry, not uploading. You can link to it. And then you choose the quality of that video. You can also use a map if you wanted to. So it's actually pretty simple. As you can see, it's super cool. It lets you do a lot of really cool stuff. So it's kind of annoying, the little shortcomings that the software has. Let's add just the section that has, skills and stuff like that. Actually, let's go back to the image. I like the image better. All right, perfect. You can add parallax. Let's add some fixed animated. Let's do that. Animated parallax. And then let's add another block, which is just the teams, our team members. And then we're going to add another block that has our footer. And then we're going to add this footer, right? So I'm going to select really quickly the menu so it fills it in. So obviously this is in the footer, which currently has nothing inside. All right, So it's not, again, it's super cool, super easy. I was able to build something visual. I'm going to update this, which actually publishes, or else when you click this button here and you go to the page, you won't see anything. So this is what it looks like when you load the page. Here it is. It's beautiful. You see the parallax effect right there. You see the team members and all of that. So that's all awesome. It's really cool. Works really well. Now, here's where things fall apart. Again, let's close this up real quick. And now we're in edit mode. So now let's say we wanted to edit the contact page and we wanted to keep the header and the footer that we created. So when we go to edit that page, and we're gonna go start build the page, you're starting from scratch, which I guess makes some sense, right? It makes some sense that that's just a page and you wanna just be able to do that, but you have to start from scratch. So you go to menu here. Sorry, we call it header. So let's say I wanna import the same header. All of the styling that you get with the other header is gone, right? Now, they do have a thing called save blocks and global blocks, okay? So if you wanted to go, let's go back to the other page. And I think it was the gallery page that we were working on, so let's edit that one. And we wanted to just replicate this, we can assign this as a saved block. And I don't know anywhere where I can set it as a global block. I don't know if putting the heart saves it as a global block. I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't really tell you. Menu, fixed, static, or sticky. That's kind of cool. Oh, here it is. Make it global. All right. So now let's see when we go back to the other page, the contact page, if it, I have to save this. Now let's see if it worked. It's not there, so I guess you're gonna have to go here and then go to global blocks and then choose it from here, and there it goes. So again, it's not something that's entirely intuitive. It wasn't very easy for me to find. I had to click here to kind of trying to figure out, how do I get that block of element that I just created? Where the hell is it? So things like that are the things that are a little bit confusing when it comes to Brizy. But as you can see, it's actually pretty powerful software and it does a lot of cool stuff. Let's just finish up this current contact page. I just wanted to show you the other big thing here. So let's go to the contact form. And we're going to use this form, which is nice. That's a nice little image. Now, the way you edit the form is you just highlight here and you say full name, email address. What is your message? And then you click on the submit button. And then here, you can assign, do you want a large button? Do you want an icon? So this is actually pretty cool. They have quite a bunch. I think they have thousands of icons that you can choose from. So let's pick a little thing like that, and you can assign where do you want the icon to be positioned, which is pretty cool. Font size, icon size, and how much space do you want between that and that. Again, super cool, really cool features, and pretty easy to use. But then when you click on this little icon to connect the form to something, these are the only things you can connect it to. So, and I think for somebody who's recommending something like a program like Brizy for marketing, I think it's a little bit tough to recommend something where it's going to be really difficult for somebody who's filling out a form to actually, email a recipient. Now, there's things you can do with Zapier, but it's not ideal. It's not an ideal solution. You can use Zapier to connect it and then send an email, but it's not. You got to pay for Zapier as an extra expense. But it's something to keep in mind. They do have the ability to add a reCAPTCHA, which is nice. So it's almost there, and the feature is coming. So it's hard to say, don't get Brizy, because Brizy is actually really cool and it works really well. And they did a great job, and I'm especially surprised and proud of how good the templates are and how good the different blocks are. I mean, with everything that they provide here, you can build a custom website extremely simple. But I just wish they would tighten up some of the things. And I know that comes with time. There's only so much time, and development crunch is a real thing. So there's just something to keep in mind if you are interested in jumping in. Let's go back to the dashboard real quick. I wanted to show you one last thing, and one of the cool things about Brizy is, let's go here to publish. Now you can publish your page on a custom domain. So you use your own domain to publish on Brizy, or you can use a subdomain that they provide for you. So for example, this is pomegranate. I've seen pineapple, I've seen different ones. They use different fruits and stuff. Or you can use your own domain to host a site. So that's super cool. Now this other section here to the right is actually even cooler. And this is something I've never seen anywhere else. They provide, this is a little bit hard to explain. So let's go to the export one first. They can provide the whole page or even one page as an HTML file with CSS attached to it. And the cool thing about that is that you can take that, and let's say you're creating landing pages and you have a custom CMS. It creates and it gives you all the images, all of the CSS and all the HTML in a zip file that you can just put in your FTP and then code it, upload it, and then you have your landing page, and you can put Google Tag Manager links on there. You could make the form work because now it's on your server. So you can get around some of the limitations doing it that way. I think for me personally, we've done hundreds and hundreds of different custom websites at my agency. I would probably go with the export HTML option because it will allow us to do a lot more. So that's pretty cool. There is an interesting thing or something like really weird that they do, which is that they, when you download the code, it's minimized. So when you're looking at the HTML, it's all compressed. So ideally, I would prefer for them to provide the HTML, nice and tidy, so it's easier to edit. So the way that we have to do it on our end is download all the HTML and then, run it through a HTML tidy application to kind of make it so it's somewhat readable for us to edit. There's something to keep in mind. And then another really cool feature is this one, server sync. And the way this works is a little bit hard to explain, so I'm going to try my best. Like the export HTML component, what you do is that it will give you a file that you download and upload to your FTP. Now this file lives in your FTP. After you're done with it, you go to that link on your site. So let's say this was the site where you downloaded the file to. So let's say it's yourdomain.com/Brizy. You put it on there, and then once you visit it on the browser, you'll download the files that you have in your Brizy Cloud account, and it will update it. So instead of having to FTP into that account, you actually go into this section here, you edit your project, and upon editing your project, as you're editing, you hit update, the files on that external FTP get updated automatically. Super cool. It's probably one of the coolest features that Brizy has. So that's Brizy in a nutshell. As you can see, it's packed full of features. The interface is beautifully done. It's still though missing a lot of the key elements that you need for something like lead generation, or to just be able to do more with the content that you put up there. But when you compare it to something like lead pages, you're talking about $49 a year versus $37 a month on the lower end of the spectrum, $79 a month if you're talking about a plan that's a little bit more similar to it. Granted, lead pages has a lot more features. You have A/B testing, but all that stuff is coming to Brizy somewhere down the line. And if you look at the public roadmap, those things are coming sooner rather than later. And when you compare it to something like Instapage, where it's literally $149 a month, and that's if you pay it annually, the savings are substantial. Then you have something like Squarespace, which is more, I guess, a traditional website builder. That's more on the $16 side for a personal site. So that's not a bad deal. So, but given that, and given what you want to do, and kind of the advanced features that Brizy does have, which is the ability to export those pages as templates that you can use on your custom CMS, or the ability to sync the Brizy Cloud to your existing website, I think that's actually really cool. So Brizy does have some kind of unique features that the other ones don't have. And I kind of trust, based on the performance that they've had in the last year and the things that they actually delivered on, based on the roadmap, I'm actually pretty hopeful that they're going to be making a lot of progress. And that's it. That's Brizy Cloud. Hopefully you understand now the difference between Brizy WordPress and Brizy Cloud, and kind of how they all mix in together. And hopefully you'll be able to make a better decision now on this product. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing is very important. And don't forget to hit that bell if you want to be notified of videos like this. And I'd love to know what you think. Leave a comment below. Do you prefer lead pages? Do you prefer Squarespace? Is there something else out there that I may not know about? Leave a comment below and let's chat. Thank you, and see you in the next one.